Hey everybody, just waiting for my little spinning wheel to stop us spinning so I know I'm live. But I think we are. It always says waiting, waiting, and then there I am. Hey everybody, it's Susie Bell from Patrick Chicken Studio. How are you today? It's Wednesday. I hope you got a chance to check out our Wednesday recipe. I was posted very early this morning, but make sure you go and check that out. It's super easy. Strawberry cream cheese tart. So strawberry season is here, or close enough to here, where we're getting some really good strawberries in the grocery store. So you want to check out the recipe. It's an easy one. It's a great one for like taking like to potlucks, or if you're having a thing at work or something like that. So I'm glad to be back with you tonight. It is really windy outside, and I am going to hope we don't lose power. We lost internet once already this afternoon, so but I don't know, we just have terrible crazy winds, and there have been some fires, some wildfires already. It's only April. Our fire season technically isn't supposed to start till July, but it's just been super, super dry here. So if you have any extra rain or snow, send it our way. We'll take it. We'll take every drop. So but anyway, today I thought I would talk about Earth Day, because Earth Day is Friday, I think Friday, the 20th. And so Earth Day it's been around for a very long time. I didn't even look up a lot of history, but I remember it from way back. And so really kind of the purpose of Earth Day is to just remember that we only have one Earth. When it's gone because we messed it up, we don't get it back. We don't get a second chance. So we have to kind of think along the lines of what we can do on a personal level to be more sustainable, to be, proactive about some things, so that we're being a little more conscious of how we impact the world around us. We know we're not giving up our cars. We're not giving up gasoline. That's just not happening. Even with the high prices, I'm being a little more careful. But if I need to go somewhere, I go somewhere. And so we know some of those bigger things we really can't do much to impact. But the small things we can. And so one of the things about being a small business, especially like ours, we're creators, we're producing items that people can use. And, our tagline is, we're the prettiest practical and the practical is pretty. It's because we don't make anything that you can't use. We want you to use it. We want it to be something that's in your kitchen, something you're going to wear, something you're going to carry. And all of our products are made with this idea of sustainability, reusability, making things easier in mind. That's how we do everything. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit about that today, and how you can really, have an impact when you're buying small business that you didn't even really think about. If you're watching us on replay, go ahead and type in #replay for me. And I will answer all comments. So I really love hearing from our customers and our friends. When we do these lives, we're not just sitting here hopefully talking to nothing, to the worldwide internet of nothing. We hope people are catching these and enjoying some of the things we share. But anyway, so Patrick Chicken Studio, just as a reminder, is a collective of artists, fabric and fiber artists. So I own the business, and I sew bowl cozies and hot pads and market totes. I need a drink. Nicole, my friend, lives about a mile and a half away, and she makes the drawstring totes, and she's been working on tortilla warmers, which I'll show you here in a minute. I got one sitting here. My mother, Pam, is our weaver, so she weaves our incredible cotton dish towels and those gorgeous scarves and ruanas that we sell at our shows and obviously online. You can always catch us at our website, patrickchickenstudio.com. You can always see us here live on our Facebook page. We have an Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest. So you can catch all of those links from our Facebook page or from our website. So, and I do apologize if you guys were looking for a newsletter last week. I kind of missed the boat. Taxes kind of snuck up on me this year, and I'm always bad about it anyway, because I hate giving the government any extra money. And I always have to give them something, and so I put it off until, the weekend, but that meant I didn't get the newsletter out. But the newsletter is going out tomorrow, so you'll see that newsletter. And we also are getting ready to kick off a sale for Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is like 3 weeks away. It's not very long. I'm going to give you a chance to pick up some really pretty items for your mom and get 10% off. So that sale will be kicking in on Saturday, the 23rd, and it'll go through May 1st. So look for that. That'll all be in the newsletter, and then we'll send out some extra posts and things about our sale. But anyway, we want to talk about Earth today. That's our thing. And so one of the things that we think about when we're thinking sustainability, it's how can I stop single use of things? How can I use this thing over and over and over again? And we'll take a really nice plastic jug. Like I'm diabetic and I'm sort of on a keto diet, and so I eat a lot of peanuts. it's like a quick snack, and they're salty and I love them. But I buy them in these big plastic containers, When I get done, I hate to throw that in the recycle bin because I know it's not going to get recycled, but I will use those. So I'll soak the label off, and then I use them to store things in the garage, or use it to hold fertilizer in my shed, or whatever. You can poke holes in the lids and make them into fertilizer shaker. And they're big. They're like a quart and a half or something. But we think about those kind of things. What are the small things we can do that make our world more sustainable? It's not going to fix everything. And even if we all did everything, we wouldn't fix everything, but we can do our part. You can do our part as much as possible to kind of build a more sustainable existence and reduce our carbon footprint. I have giant feet, so when they say carbon footprint, I think about my big feet and the things that I do that may be impacting the environment. Big feet. But anyway, so for us, there are a lot of things that we do to kind of be sustainable, and just in how we produce products, but also in the purpose of our products. And so our bowl cozies, they're for using over and over and over again in the microwave, and you just wash them with your clothes, and you don't need anything special. They don't need special soap. They don't need to be ironed. They don't, you just throw them in the wash and you use them over and over again. And a lot of us are being sustainable by cooking at home. So you're cooking in your own kitchen. These things like the bowl cozies are there to make it easier for you, and you're not making a mess, and you're not having to clean up so much. And paper towels, of course, are expensive and not sustainable. But our bowl cozies are made with cotton fabrics. That's on purpose, right? Cotton is renewable. Polyester isn't renewable. Polyester comes from oil. We know there's a finite amount of oil, but we can always grow more cotton. So that's kind of an important thing for us when we're doing these products, is to think, how can we do something that's more sustainable and something that can be renewable is the way to go. And so that our bowl cozies are that thing. Our hot pads are that thing as well. So our hot pads are made with denim. Oof, I can't Vanna. So they're denim. Denim is cotton, 100% cotton. Again, it's sustainable. Calico and the batting on this side of it is cotton. The batting is cotton. The only artificial polyester thing in there is that layer of Insulbrite, which is a very thin poly layer, but it's wrapped around a metal mesh. And that mesh is metal mesh is what keeps the heat from burning you. It kind of wicks that heat away from your fingers. But, these are all cotton otherwise. Cotton thread, the whole thing. And we think that's an important element of what we do. Mom makes these, Pam, my mother, makes these beautiful cotton towels. These are woven on a loom, cotton fiber. So this is just cotton yarn that we purchase, and she's able to weave them into beautiful products. And these towels last forever. I have a pair of these she made we're probably going on 6 years now. And she fussed at me initially because I wouldn't use them. They were so pretty. I was like, I'm not going to use them. I don't want to mess them up. But here's the thing. Now I've been using them for 5 or 6 years. They get washed every week. I use them in the kitchen. They're super absorbent. And I wash them every weekend when I do the laundry. They get washed. So these things have been washed, I don't know, what's 5 times 52? A lot. 52 weeks a year. I wash these things every week for 52 weeks for 5 years. That is a lot of washing, and they look as good as new, and they still work great. They don't have any holes in them. They're in perfect condition. You wouldn't know that I've been using them for 5 years. And so there's some value to using quality renewable products, and cotton is one of those. Cotton's very sturdy, doesn't hold on to stains. It's a really good reasons to be using cotton. The other things that she weaves are scarves. So this is not cotton, this is actually wool. So wool is another one of those products that is completely sustainable because you don't kill the sheep to get the wool, you just give them a haircut. You shave them, you use the fiber, you make beautiful fiber and it turns into a gorgeous scarf. And then the sheep grows some more hair, just like I do, right? I got my hair cut last week and I'm already going, oh, it's already growing. But that's sustainable. That's sustainable. The animal's not harmed, and then you've got this fiber that you can get more of over and over and over again. So that's a big deal. It really is. We also have these reusable drawstring produce bags, and I call them produce bags, but I use them for all kinds of things. And so these have a French seam inside, which means there's no raveling, there's no raw edges. And I use these for fruits and vegetables at the store, so when I go and I'm picking up apples, they go in here instead of the plastic bag. That single-use plastic bag is a real harm to the environment, and we know that. We know that. And so anytime we can get rid of single-use plastic, we should be doing that. But this also works really great for bulk foods. So here in Colorado, bulk foods are a big deal. There are stores that sell nothing but bulk foods. All of our grocery stores have bulk foods. So I'm talking nuts, grains, tabbouleh, rices, flours, sugars, salts, all of that stuff, trail mix, all of that. Well, they can all go in these bags. They drop tight. They have a little parachute spring on them that'll keep them tight. And I just use them, and when they get dirty, I wash them. So yeah, these are awesome. And we sell these, and we have sold these for a long time. I think it's one of those things that it's a habit, right? You have to build the habit of, I'm going to remember to bring my bag to the store with me. And this is the same thing. So these stay in my car. When they're empty, they go into the car with the other reusable bags, and I use those to go into the store and do my shopping. So these are really, really important. We can do this one thing and really make a big impact on our environment. Nicole makes the drawstring totes. Got the drawstring totes. These are 100% cotton thread, and they also have the French seams, so no raw edges. This is all really nice and tight, 2 layers of fabric, so they're really strong. So when you go to the flea market or the festival or the grocery store, or just going to go to the beach, or you're going to go hang out with your friends, or whatever, you need to take your lunch with you need to take a towel with you, whatever, will all fit in this bag. And then it's washable when it's done. So we see those nylon ones, those cheapy nylon ones, they have like the bank has their little logo on there, or the dentist or whatever. And how long do those last? You wear them a few times and they rip, or the cords come loose, and they're petroleum-based product. So that is all fake product. It's fake fiber. It's fake, made with petroleum. And while that's quick and easy, it does have an impact on the environment. And so when you're choosing to take a bag with you to go shopping, shouldn't it be sustainable as much as possible? Our market totes are the same way, and I didn't bring one with me. And I have one around the corner. I might go get it in a minute. But the market totes are the same thing. They're cotton canvas, cotton straps, cotton calico on the outside, big pocket on the inside. If I'm going to go shopping, that's what I take with me, is a market tote, because it's got a long handle, fits on my shoulder, and I can wash it when it gets dirty. It's going to hold its shape, and it's renewable, made with cotton fiber. So everything we can do with cotton, we're doing with cotton, because that's something that we can just grow more cotton. We can continue to grow more cotton. And then the other thing Nicole makes are these tortilla warmers. They're not cute. So you put your little tortillas in here and stick them in the microwave for 20 seconds or so, and you've got warm tortillas that stay warm. Again, this is all cotton. This is cotton fabric. There's cotton batting in here, which is great because it provides just the slightest bit of moisture. When you're heating up a tortilla, you really want some moisture. this is going to work perfectly. And again, this is sustainable. And one of the things, if you've ever bought from us online and you got a package from us, have you ever gotten one of these? You know what these are? We include these in all of our packages. These are bookmarks. But if you look at the print, these are from hot pads. So when I make hot pads, there's always a piece left over at the end of the fabric. And it's already quilted. I already quilted it because it was part of the hot pad. And so here's this nice piece of fabric, all quilted up and pretty, and I'm not going to throw it away. So I serge around the edges, and we give these away as bookmarks. We also have them at our shows. If I get a lot, like right now I have a ton, they will be going to our shows, and so when people buy, they can pick a bookmark to take with them. These are cotton, 100% cotton, cotton thread, cotton fabric, cotton batting, everything's cotton in here. If they get dirty, you can wash them, you can throw them in the wash. But this is way better than me just throwing stuff away. And Nicole and I share fabrics a lot, so we work on projects together. And she'll have a piece big enough left over that I can make a hot pad set with, and bookmarks. And so I'll have 3 things out of the same product. When we were doing jar cozies, we had multiple things out of the same fabric. There'd be a drawstring tote out of the fabric, there'd be a jar cozy out of the fabric, and then probably a hot pad as well. So we try to use up all our scraps because fabric that goes into the landfill is actually toxic. Even if it's natural fiber like this, it can be toxic. And we throw away a lot of clothing and fabric goods, a lot of linens. Those can be recycled if you can find the right place to recycle them, but generally they clog up the landfills and they do not break down, especially those polyester fibers, but the cotton ones too are toxic in a landfill and just take up a lot of room. And here we are cruddying up our environment. At some point, we're not going to have anywhere to put our trash. There is a landfill near us, it's probably about 10 or 12 miles from us. And we drive by it going to certain shows and we're like, oh yeah, there's the landfill. And there's so much trash blows around from there because we do have high winds here. So much of that gets kind of out. It isn't even trapped in the landfill. And so the less we put in the landfill, the better. Definitely the better. So the other thing that I do, Nicole not so much, I think her machine is newer, but I use vintage machines. So you can see a couple of my machines here in the background, and I have a lot of machines. I have about 12 machines, and they're all older. And when you have an older machine, there's no plastic. So there's no petroleum in there other than the sewing machine oil I put on them to keep them lubricated. There's no plastic anywhere. They're all metal. They live forever. So these are sewing machines that are older than me. So I don't own, let's see, I really only have 2 machines. One machine, it's younger than me. And that one's from the early 70s and it's full of plastic. And it does a certain thing, it's my serger and I still use it and it's a wonderful machine. But all of my other machines are all metal and older than I am. And that means that some other generation, or maybe even 2 generations, because I'm 60, have sewn with the machines before I got them. So that machine may belong to 2 different people who sewed with them, and here it is, a 3rd generation or a 2nd generation sewing on these machines, and I will sew on these until I'm no longer able to sew, and then pass them on to somebody who will use them. So these vintage machines are part of being sustainable. They don't take a whole lot of maintenance. They literally do not. It's rare that they break down. If they break down, it's because I didn't take care of them. It's like a car. You oil it, you keep it running, you use them. They don't like to sit, so I have to use all these machines if I'm going to keep them. But they don't break down. They're not going to have some plastic gear crack in half that you can't replace because it's all the way in the middle of the machine and was put in there before the machine was put together. I'm not ever going to run into that. Not ever. So my machines are a part of my sustainability. The other thing about a small business, and I think this is probably one of the biggest impacts that we make as a small business, we are not some giant manufacturing plant. So when I sew, I have a couple of lights on. My house might be heated, but I'm not using a whole bunch of energy. I'm not creating a lot of waste. Manufacturing creates a ton of waste. it's amazing to me how much waste can be created, and then how much is spent on energy, utilities, and buying of natural materials, raw materials. Um, all of that's happening in an environment, that doesn't care if they have a lot of waste, or if they're overusing um, our natural resources. And so when we're here sewing in our little sewing room, we bought sustainable goods, sustainable fabrics, sustainable fibers. We're making our goods by hand in a small location, with love and care, obviously, but we're not creating all of that leftover scrap. Like I showed you my bookmarks. We don't believe in leftovers. And when I figured out how to make bowl cozies, one of the requirements was that I would not have any scraps more than just a little piece. And so that's what got us to the size of bowl cozies that we make, because the fabric was a certain width that I could cut, and I didn't want to have a chunk left over, or a bigger chunk. So I wanted to use the whole thing. Well, that's how we get our measurements. That's why our bowl cozies are 10 inches across, because the fabric allows me to cut two 11-inch pieces, and that gives me enough for the seams. So in my mind, waste is bad. I don't want to be throwing away a bunch of fabric left over. I want to use every inch of that fabric. And Nicole and I do that a lot because, first of all, it's not economical, because we're buying fabric we can't use or won't use. But secondly, really, really bad for the environment. And it doesn't show care and concern for our product. It doesn't show care and concern for what we're doing. And so being able to keep waste limited, to work in small batches, to use every inch of everything that we can, really does help us to be much more sustainable. All of our products are made to be reusable for multiple times. So this isn't something you're going to use once or twice and off it goes. So you're going to continue to use our sustainable products. Washing is better than tossing. So we say, go ahead and wash it when it gets dirty. Do that. Don't get a new one. Don't toss it. Wash it. When we get something that's not sustainable and it gets ruined, we toss it. Where does it go? Yeah, it leaves our house, but does it really leave us? No, it's down there in the landfill, maybe blowing around in the wind. But we believe that washing is better than tossing. And we believe in thrift store shopping. And that sounds, I think for some people that just seems odd. Like, what? Thrift store? Well, what do you do with your stuff when you can't use it anymore? When we're downsizing, when we're simplifying. This is a big movement to simplify our lives and to keep things easy and straightforward. What do you do with that extra set of pots, or, that bed linen? You have 3 sets of bed linen and decide you don't need that. What do you do with that 3rd set? Well, you give it to the thrift store, right? It might be a charity thrift store. It might be just a regular thrift store that doesn't support a charity. But you're hopeful that somebody else is going to be able to use that thing. And I look at that and say, yep, that's why. And plus, I can find some really good quality things at the thrift store and save a little bit of money. Saving money is also sustainable because then I have more money to do some of the things I really want to do, or more money to pad my savings, which is always, a good thing. And some of the things that we've used over the years for our displays at our shows have come from the thrift store or from Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, that kind of thing, where I got this really expensive display item for a lot less money, and it's in perfectly good usable condition, and that person decided to sell it or give it away as opposed to throwing it away, taking it to a scrapper or whatever. That's sustainable. And we like to think of hitting the thrift store as being something sustainable. It is amazing the amount of fiber I have bought for Pam from thrift stores. They're brand new. They're still in their packaging. Really high quality materials. Wool, alpaca. I bought alpaca one time at the thrift store. All of that gets recovered and used to make a beautiful product. And we can offer that at a price that is acceptable to a customer instead of being out of a customer's range of purchase. So there are a lot of reasons for us to hit the thrift stores. Most recently at the thrift store, I bought and I haven't played with it yet, but it was a whole lighting set. They've got the tripods with the little umbrellas that provide light. We take product pictures all the time. And I usually have to wait for a sunny day, drag everything outside and do it. But these lights, if they work, will allow me to take pictures without having to be outside. We don't mind taking pictures outside, but we have been super windy this year. We've had many, many wind warnings. We had one yesterday. We will have one it's already been announced for Friday. It's hard to get outside and take pictures of fabric products when the wind is blowing because suddenly my bowl cozies are in Kansas. We'd like to keep them here. But I think I paid $7 or $8 for this lighting set that it's used. It's obviously used, but it's in usable condition. I couldn't afford to buy that kit. It was probably over $300 to buy that kit by itself, brand new. And we don't have that kind of profit to throw around. I don't think anybody does unless they're a big business. So the thrift store, some people look down on people that go to the thrift store, but thrift store is first of all, highly entertaining. But second of all, you can really run across some amazing things. And I have some amazing things in my house because I went to the thrift store and looked. And I know where the good ones are, and I know where the ones are I don't want to go back. But there are a lot of choices out there. And during the pandemic, a lot of people purged. They went through their simple living thing, right? I got to cut down. I got to simplify everything. And a lot of really cool stuff ended up at the thrift store. And it always does. That's kind of always the way it is. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up for tonight. We're just about at a half an hour. Again, if you're just watching this now, hashtag replay. We are everywhere. You might have to dig a little bit somewhere to find us, but Facebook, obviously you know where we are on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. This will go up on our YouTube channel once I processed it. We have lots of videos up on our YouTube channel, including recipe videos and a sewing machine, vintage sewing machine videos and tool videos, and some of our lives go up there. You should always go check that out. So just search for Patchwork Chicken Studio on YouTube and you'll find us. You might find some interesting things there. And we're adding more all the time. That's what we do. And we're on Pinterest at Patchwork Chicken Studio. So you can always catch us there. Our Instagram account is fairly new, so still a little slow. And TikTok, I'm just starting with TikTok. So we'll be doing more of those in the future. But right now, just kind of limited, mostly Facebook, obviously. We're here every day in Pinterest. So I hope you're having a good evening. I hope the wind is not blowing you away wherever you are. I can hear the wind right now kind of roaring upstairs. I'm in the basement, so I don't have to hear it as bad. But anyway, I hope you're having a good night, and I will be back next Wednesday for Live from the Studio at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Take care.